Hello everybody, thank you for joining me in on another Lost In. You know, there are so many cool cars down here in Brazil, so many great stories to tell. Crazy stories like the rivalry between Puma and Volkswagen that gave birth to the SP2. But today I'm going to close the chapter on the BIANCO story. Strap on in, you're lost. Back in 1978, a remarkable and incredible event occurred at the famous São Paulo Auto Show. The Tarpan was revealed to the Brazilian market. In principle, this car was supposed to be the revolution of the BIANCO S. The Tarpan was a rear-engine, rear-wheel drive Brazilian sports car, promised to be released with all-around disc brakes, impact bumpers, plus thermal insulation and soundproofing upgrades for the awesome TS water-cooled Passat motor. However, once it moved into production, it was made of polyurethane fiberglass, and like countless other Brazilian collectors' cars, reverted back to the Type 3 Volkswagen 1600. You know, the Brasilia. The rear-wheel drive, Boxster air-cooled 1.6-liter engine with dual carburetors produced a dismal 65 horsepower. Thus, this performance was completely lackluster and did not portray the awesome power of its namesake. The name Tarpan comes from the strong and beautiful wild horses of the Eurasian steppe. The aggressive style of the Tarpan was always a highlight of this car, but the looks did not translate into performance in any way, shape, or form. You know, if the BIANCO was somebody like Denzel Washington, then the Tarpan was Marlon Wayans. Cool guy, good actor, just a little off, a little odd, a little quirky, you know? Not quite that cool dude factor. You know, and another thing to kick it in the teeth is the design was already outdated by 1978, and the final version did not have the blessing and the participation of Tony Bianco. The design did borrow the rear tail lights, the windshield, and that's about where the similarities end in design. The front of the Tarpan, due to the impact bumpers, had to be drastically redesigned, with the questionable decision of ditching the iconic 4 headlights for rounded 60s inspired sports car look. Much longer than the more handsome BIANCO S, the Tarpan measured in at 4.35 meters. That's a long boat. And on top of it being a long old boat, the back end really didn't match the rest of the car. It was like somebody chopped 2 cars and stuck them together. It was just stretched out and far too long. The overall aesthetic of the Tarpan really fell short of its predecessor, the BIANCO S. In 1981, the Diadema factory, ABC Paulista, presented the Tarpan TS. Finally, with the promised water-cooled TS motor, 1.6 liters, it came from the VW Passat of that year, increasing the horsepower from 65 to 98. Score! Now, some defects did persist, such as the driving position pretty well sucked. It was not cheap. It cost almost as much as a 6-cylinder Diplomat Opala. That's crazy. That's top of the line trim package. That's top shelf awesomeness. And get this, as a sports car, it was in direct competition with the Fiore. Now the Fiore did have the same mechanics as the Tarpan TS, the Passat TS motor. And the body design of the Fiore was way more awesome. It was way more modern. It was a sweet little wedge car. Not many of these Tarpan models were actually manufactured, and even fewer of the convertible variant were produced. Now, by the end of 1982, Tarpan closed their doors, out of business due to the Brazilian economic crisis of the 80s, thus ending the story of the Tarpan. You'll occasionally see one of these spirited vehicles on the road, and it's the thrill of the lifetime. But mostly all you ever see is a cloud of smoke after they pass. It's their elegance and beauty that ensure their survival. And that makes these cars so remarkable. This closes out another Lost In. I really want to thank you guys for stopping and spending a little bit of your time with me. If you haven't, please give a little thumbs up, share this with your primo. It might annoy them, but man, it really would mean so much to me. So thank you once again for sharing your time. Até a próxima. Ciao, ciao.